Welcome back to Torment.
Why, of course.
Alright, let's go inside the tombs. I'm assuming this leads inside the tombs.
Ready.
Well. Stunted and piebald with a large hairless head, this humanoid reminds you of a court gesture, except that its wide, violet eyes sparkle with cunning and intelligence, giving the impression there is much going on inside his large dome. Who are you? You can't be here. Why did you come? Several people sit bound and beaten along the far wall, surrounded by corpses. At second glance, some of those bound may themselves be dead as well. The man steps closer, lowering his voice to a growl. Well? Answer me! What's going on here? He looks around, comprehension dawning on his face as he takes in the room and its contents. Ah, it's not what you think. His mouth widens in an ugly smile. We were just defending ourselves, trying to reclaim what small part of the world fate has seen fit to seed us. It never would have come to this if we'd only had someone to help us explain. He gestures to the open corridor. We are worshippers, you see. There is a terminal down there that provides access to the tombs. But this memorialist, he spits at the woman behind him, has placed a whisper lock on it. Without the code, we cannot enter the tombs and join our Lord in affair in worship. She's rather narrow-sighted and doesn't see the value in what we do. If we regain our access to the gate, we could show her firsthand. He smiles. The effect is not reassuring. It would be better to release them in Lord Innefair's presence, but any end is justified. She mutters to you, Skist, we need access to a terminal if we want to reach Meal Abest. We need to get that whisper lock code. There must be some way we can solve this peaceably. The time for peaceable solutions is over. The gate awaits, and we must answer its call at any cost. Their lives are forfeit, whether we have the code or not, but we must have it. Please, give me a chance to save lives. Some costs are too high. Life is cheap, traveler, but the gate is forever. We must return. Just let me talk to them. It won't cost you anything to try. I'm definitely the person to do this. Yeah, let's make sure I succeed. He considers your words for a long moment, then. You may be right. Alright, you have my permission to speak to the prisoners. If you can get the code from them, we can end this charade. Tarry, and more will die each day until either you or they give us what we need. He turns to the woman bound on the floor. The code is all we want, after all. The rest of this does not become any of us. This middle-aged woman sits stoically, her hands bound in front of her legs. The sleeves of her robe have fallen from her wrists, and you catch sight of yellow and purple bruising above the lacerations from her tightly cinched bonds. Streams of tears have carved channels down her dust-covered face. She looks up at you, her eyes the color of the seas around Sakis. Two more tears slip silently down her cheeks. She turns away from you. Has he come to save us? To end these pointless depths? No, probably not. Who are you? She does not answer. Instead, she turns away, tears dripping from her chin. Why are you crying? She shakes her head, almost imperceptibly, but says nothing. Do you know the passcode to the Whisper Lock? Finally, she looks up at you and speaks, her voice hoarse as though she has been shouting for days. You are one of them. I will not speak to you nor give you the passcode. Even the clue, the name of the successor prince, is too much to give him. What's the name of the successor prince? What? You could see the whites clearly around her eyes. How did you? Her face hardens. We are done here. I will not speak to you. Please, if you give me the passcode, I can help you. I can't trust that you will. I'm sorry. My fellow memorialists will get in again someday. They'll find a way. This short, red-haired man has vivid green eyes that emanate a mix of sadness, lost dreams, and hope. The stranger sizes you up, and for a second you feel true interest in your persona, but then he looks away, lost in his thoughts. A moment later, he turns back and smiles. The smile is like his eyes, full of shards of emotions, caution, cynicism, fear, and friendliness. His arms are tied, and it looks like he's been beat up pretty badly. I'm Utwag, by the way. Utwag Loss, the leader of these sad sacks. Wish we could meet under better circumstances. Can you tell me about yourself? He straightens, though it's clear the effort pains him. I'm an explorer and do-gooder, self-proclaimed. For some reason, he smirks at the stout man next to him who says this. I've been all over the world, had every occupation and hardship you could imagine. Why, I even had my luck stolen from me. And do you know what I learned in all of that? He leans forward. You can do anything if you work for it. Anything. How did you get here? He leans forward conspiratorially. Let me tell you, he says. We left the oasis some weeks ago, tracking a tale of deceit in fabled Numenera. We were hired to find something called a world string. A tiny contraption that could spin a web so fine it's all but invisible, but so strong it could slice the world in two if someone had the means and the mind for it. No idea if it actually exists, but that's how this all started. Well, there we were, out in the Verxulian wastes, when we happened across broken hound the size of a giraffe. Something had irritated it, so we decided to seek shelter and wait for nightfall, to see if it might not range a little further from the route we wanted to take. I was looking for just such a place when something slammed into me and knocked me down into this valley. It was Narv trying to kill me again. I don't blame him though. It's all for the best. Narv and Jenkins followed, of course, and we ran into these fine memorialists in a bit of trouble. Now, I'm never one to turn down a challenge or people in need. It's almost a curse, you might say. So, of course, we agreed to help them lock their Necropolis. After that, well, you can see what happened after that. Who are your companions? He tilts his head toward the rat-like man near him. That's Narv the Blessed. Meanest bastard this world's ever seen. Except that he keeps messing it up somehow. That's the brush you're painting me with? Bah! He scoffs and turns away. He gestures his head to the earnest-looking man with a smile. And that's Jenkins, the Jinx. Always around to help, especially when you don't need it. Did you say you needed help, boss? He laughs. No, friend. Or at least there's nothing you don't already know about. Do you know the passcode to the Whisper Lock? I'm afraid I don't. Talira here didn't tell us. He leans closer. Just between you and me, I'm glad we don't know it. One of us would have given it up for sure by now. This stout fellow has a cruel scowl and beady eyes. He's unkempt and dressed in clothes that don't quite fit. In a low, gruff voice, he seems to be muttering to himself about some plot or other going wrong. His hands are bound and constantly working at the cords, as if they have a life of their own. Name's Narv the Blessed, if you can believe that, which I can. Tell me about yourself. I'm an explorer and a villain, the worst villain you'll ever meet. And by that I mean that no matter what I try to pull, it somehow ends up helping people. He spits, blessed indeed. How'd you get here? He leans forward and talks to you in low tones. It was all Utwag's fault. God's damn do-gooder can't help himself. We're on a quest, he calls it, for this fabled strain or whatever. I figure it's my chance to off him once and for all. We came across this enormous broken hound, so I tossed a few rocks at it to get its attention. Well, Utwag wouldn't fight it or run. No, he calmed it down and left it alone. So I tried a second time, shoving Utwag down a mountainside when he got too close. As luck would have it, I lost my balance and fell down with him. Of course, idiot Jenkins followed us to help. He puffs out a blast of air. That's how we got to this valley. When these memorialists asked for our help, we saw an opportunity. Jenkins to help, Utwag to grow on his path or whatever, and me to finally do Utwag in. He shakes his head sadly. And those cultists caught us before I could try anything. I tell you, nothing ever goes my way. Who are your companions? The red-headed fellow's, he's Utwag Loss. In a hushed tone he adds, I've been trying to kill him for about 12 years now. He leans back and indicates a smooth-faced man. And the young pup there is Jenkins the Jinxed. He'll want to help you. Don't let him. He leers at the young man, who smiles back at him as if he just said the nicest thing. Do you know the passcode for the Whisper Lock? He sputters in laughter. Do you think I'd still be sitting here if I did? Let them have the damn Necropolis. Keeping them out ain't worth all this. Hello. This young man smiles at you shyly, his left eye sealed shut by a combination of grime and blood. The rest of his body hasn't fared much better, and the cords around his wrists and ankles have rubbed his flesh raw. He sees you staring and shakes his head so hair falls over his ruined eye. Can I help you? He asks politely. You're bound and bruised, and he asks if I need help? Ah, he looks at the cords that bind them, testing them experimentally. I mean, I know you're probably right, but couldn't you need help anyway? He looks up at you hopefully. Maybe just a little bit of help? Actually, I do need to know the passcode for the Whisper Lock. His face brightens and he nods at you enthusiastically. Excellent! As soon as I learn what it is, I will tell you. He catches your expression. A sad look comes on his face. Oh, you hoped I knew it already. Sorry, friend. He gives you a sudden broad smile. But if you need anything else, you know exactly where I'll be. He holds his bound hands towards you. Here, I'll be here, just so we understand each other. I think you and I are going to get along splendidly, Eric just says. He would have made a splendid hero. Perhaps he already is. Jenkins seems momentarily taken aback and ducks his head shyly. You're the first person ever to say that to me, he says, sniffling and wiping at his eyes. Eric just leans down and claps him on the shoulder, and the two of them bask silently in mutual affection. Who are you? I'm Jenkins. Jenkins the Jinxed. He wrinkles his nose. It wasn't my first choice of a name, believe me, but I don't really mind it anymore. It's kind of apt. He looks you over and shuffles forward a little, leaning closer. You see, I really like to help people, but I have a habit of getting lost, he says in what he clearly thinks is a whisper. I'll camp down for the night with my party, and by morning they're all gone. He stares up at you in wide-eyed wonderment. It's a terrible curse, really it is. He kicks at the floor and sighs. Utwag and Narv are the only people I never lost, he says morosely. Not for lack of trying. Don't worry, Narv. I'll never try to lose you. How'd you get here? Well, we came across the wastes, he says pensively. The Verxulian wastes, of course, not the Tempest wastes. He laughs lightly, as if at his own joke. Then Narv pushed Utwag down a sand dune and he tumbled into this gravestone valley. Almost broke his neck. I'm glad he didn't, though. Still don't know why he pushed it. Maybe it was an accident. Then, he pauses, searching his memory, we ran into these memorialists who asked for our help. They wanted to lock the Necropolis from these cultists. Of course, I said yes, but well, we weren't so lucky. But at least we kept them out. We're your companions. The red-haired one is Wag Loss, our leader. He's been all over the world. You know, he's famous. Jenkins gives you a nod, his face serious, as if to impress upon you the gravity of the situation. The other fellow is Narv. He tries to hurt people, but it never turns out right. What? His eyes widen and he looks around worriedly. I don't hurt people. He smiles and leans in towards you. I like him. He thought I hadn't noticed. How stupid does he think I am?
Yes.
His corpse is curled pitifully on its side, as if anticipating another kick to the ribs. Their eyes are open in horror at whatever happened to them. Whoever this person was in life, they are unrecognizable now. The combination of starvation, beatings, and torture has rendered all but their eyes unreadable. There's an indentation on the middle finger of their right hand that might have once borne a ring, but that too is gone. With two careful fingers, you pull his eyelids closed and shut his horrified mouth. Thank you. Her gaze lingers on the corpse, but the gratitude in her voice was heartfelt.
All right, here I go.
This alluring woman looks up, white hair brushing her shoulders. She allows a slight smile to pull at the corners of her mouth. Her face is confusing, for though her skin has the tightness of youth, her eyes pierce you with the wisdom of 100 years. She rests her hands on the daggers at her hips, perhaps waiting to see if you have the courage to make the first move. Who are you? Jalen of Underhouse Dimath, she says, then blinks. Sorry, habit. Dimath has gone into the dark like all the others. I'm just Jalen these days. Now what brought that on? You mentioned an Underhouse. What's that? I can't believe I told you my full name, she says with a rueful chuckle. My Croftfather would have had me whipped. Her hands close over her daggers. I come from a world beside this one, from a city in the hollow core, ruled by 16 underhouses built into the walls. Then, she frowns, counting silently. A few decades back, I woke the screams, and not one or two like you get from the lower city from time to time, but hundreds. She grins. There's an uneasiness in it. I'm getting soft. That's the only explanation. I found out that shadows were pouring from the walls of the world. The underhouses, the people inside, were just melting into it, screaming. Staring past you, she continues. A few of us made it out through a portal into the bloom. The shadows wouldn't follow. I think the bloom scares even them. She grins. At any rate, I made a living for a while plying the family trade. But there was no joy in it, not until I found the Endless Gate, and they gave me a reason to work. So tell me about this family trade. She barks a laugh, hitting her forehead with the heel of her hand. Where is my head today? I'm a... what's the word you use here? Torturer? I get information through pain. Underhouse Dimath was famous for it, and I was the only one of my family left. I thought I'd make them proud by following in the trade here. She shakes her head, sighing at her own naivete. Nearly starved my first year in the bloom. Barely anyone wanted to hire me, and those that did paid pittance for my family's holy work and treating me like some kind of monster. She pinches the bridge of her nose. I drank a lot in those days, talking about my family and how they served the people they killed. Freed them from their secrets, right? And one night, I said all this to a member of the Endless Gate. She chuckles. Such luck. They said I belonged with them. They were right. So that's why you joined the Endless Gate? I torture people to free them from their secrets. The Endless Gate and I are a good match. Talking about the death of your world doesn't seem to pain you all that much. Well, it was foretold. she says with a careless shrug. Under House of Shando, that was the prophet cast, was wrong about the day is all. Shame that all of us suffered because they were sloppy, but they're either dead now or still getting mean, she sighs. In other words, I knew it was coming my whole life. Wasn't expecting to live through it, so getting weepy about the whole thing would be a slap in the face to everyone I left behind. You wouldn't be thinking of pulling those daggers on me, would you? I'd prefer not to, she says, palms of her hands flatten the rounded pommels of her twin weapons. You seem pleasant enough. I suppose we'll see how things go, won't we? Well, the memorialists wouldn't give me the code either. Huh? She says, chewing her lip. Well, can't say I'm surprised. She taps a thoughtful finger on her hip. Maybe you should go looking for another memorialist like that one Clem Carr was after. Ro knows something, if he's still around. He might know something. This material is springy to the touch, but impassable to damage. You can make out only diffuse shadows beyond it.
Trust and honesty are our bonds. Doing begets learning, I guess.
Thousands of names scroll across the surface of this sphere. There is no indication of how they died, assuming that's what the names mean.
All right. Consider it done.
A susurrus of voices whispers from this jar every so often.
Find him. Something to do.
I assume that's the whisper-locked gate.
Learning begets doing. Or is it the other
Oh,
one?
maybe that was part of the code that I had before, that I read from that book, though. 1-5, what was it again? One 5-3-5. Very close to leveling. Not really.
Can you tell me stories about your childhood, Maddie?
It's Matkina.
These lights bending and
Answer that
refracting.
question. Do you like nightmares?
No.
Then you probably don't want to hear my stories, Rin.
These lights bending and refracting in upon themselves must have been brought to honor someone important. The names have been worn away by time, however.
Go.
A shimmering field obscures the pedestal. It seems to be emanating from a small device within the field. That must be the whisper lock. Also inside is a configuration of buttons surrounding a central dial, but the whisper lock engaged, there is no way to reach them. Central prints. It's probably not any of these.
Yes.
Just guessing random stuff isn't going to do me any good.
I am the very soul of action.
These rocks appear to have been brought in from the outside and welded into place somehow, sealing the entrance.
And it's done.
The piebald man watches you approach, a sour smile pulling at the edges of his lips. You're back. I don't suppose you've learned anything. Did someone named Kiyatawa come through here? The Dendra child, yes. His mouth curls in a slight sneer. She came to the valley some time ago. She went down to see Lord Inefair before the memorialists locked us out. She's probably still down there. If you wish to see her, find the code.
All right.
Was this here before? I don't think it was.
And it's done.
The floating darkness before you looks a little like the dying minim you saw earlier, only this one is even more closed. It is furled tight like a black unblossomed rose, as if it was looking for something to bring it to life. You have a sudden gag reflex. Something lurches in your chest. Something inside your body is reacting to the minim, trying to get out. Step closer. Expel whatever is trying to get out of your body. As soon as you open your mouth, a slick black cloud surges out. A slick black cloud surges out, emptying your lungs of air almost completely. It's the black flecks from the dying minim, but they changed somehow inside your body. The cloud floats towards the minim. Where it touches, the minim becomes more diffuse. Less a clot and more a cloud, expanding, unfurling, until its dark center is revealed, and within that center a pulsing red light, and a welcoming warmth that carries with it the echoes of sounds you are not hearing around you. It took 2 might damage, that's fine. Yet the black sludge continues to spew from your lungs. You are unable to control it, retching out more and more, until finally, when it feels as though you're going to pass out, the last stuff slips past your tongue. You feel weaker, but at least it's out of your body now. The more you look at the minim, the more it seems to you like an unpollinated flower. It is dormant and looking for something to bring it to life. But what? I think I already did that. Alright, let's try to walk. You step into the warm red darkness and it swallows you, turning you into smoke and sparks. You drift and swirl through a black void, floating toward another patch of flickering red. Then suddenly you are somewhere else. Aha. I get it. So those two are connected now.
The other way.
Yes.
Alright, here I go.
Well now. Well, I haven't tried walking up this. I have a bad feeling about this, but you know what? Screw it, let's do it.
Ready.
If you're sure it's safe.
It's not letting me interact with it. There we go. The slab is nearly frictionless, and you find it almost impossible to gain any sort of traction. But as you press your fingers into its surface, you can feel it melting slightly at your touch. You pull yourself slowly upward upon your belly, inch by inch, your fingers beginning to bleed. You have just reached the 3-meter mark when the glistening rock begins to shake. You release your grip and slide to the ground, all your progress lost in the moment. A voice cries out in mortal terror, and the men here crashes to the ground with a thunderous roar. A great plume of dust rises in the air. Well, so much for that. When the dust settles, the portal has vanished. You can barely make out the fingers of a hand protruding from beneath the rock, holding a scrap of gray fabric that looks almost like a mask. The fingers twitch once, twice, and are still. A trickle of dark fluid dripples out in a thin stream. It is gray, the color of stone, bleached of light. It has no other distinguishing characteristics. As you pick up the mask, its ashen gaze fixes on you. The gray fabric feels like flesh, a slab of wet meat draped across your fingers. A whisper caresses your mind. Prosper. You feel an unconscious revulsion, and then you turn away from the fallen slab. This must be the mask the repugnant blob saw. A face sculpted from soft gray material gazes through and beyond you from ashen sockets. The mask affixes to your face with an almost lifeless eagerness. It's clammy, moist to the touch. Viewed through its lens, the world takes on a nightmarish aspect. Once mundane objects twist with strange new angles. Familiar faces, those of your most trusted friends and companions, contort in ways they never should. In the corners of your eyes, misshapen monstrosities lurch and stagger across impossible landscapes. The effects are subtle at first, but the longer you wear the mask, the more horrifying the visions. What enlightenment or madness awaits one with the courage to wear it for long enough? Is it something I could put on? No. I can probably give it to the blob of 3. He wanted it. You climbed Obelisk, crushed St. Proverbius, though you knew he lived. No matter, the future is built on blood and rage. You fell. What did you learn from this experience? I found this mask. The blob's mouths gasp simultaneously. The mask of Prosper, the face that never remembered. They yearn for it, even as they squirm away. Give it to us. Give. Here you go. The blob reaches out with its deformed arms and accepts the mask from you. The 3 faces immediately start trying to control the creature's arms so they can place the mask on one of the other faces, and they lose interest in you for a moment. Give it to me. No, to me. Wear it, Tulk Sniffer. They scramble over it for a short while, then turn back to you. But what did you... I learn from your climb? I saw the portal, but it vanished when the obelisk fell. Yes! And from this, we all understand that we cannot attain that height again. The portal exists only in our memories. All faces grimace in unison, as if trying for an unfamiliar smile. Alright, enjoy your mask. Somewhere I'm going to need to find... Oh, there's Ronos. Okay. And I helped him before. Maybe he knows the Whisperlock code. Well, good thing I didn't let the cultists kill him before. Let's ask about the girl named Choi first. Do you know anything about a dead girl named Choi? No, I've never heard the name. A colleague of yours was taken prisoner. I need the code for the Whisperlock she placed on the Necropolis. You know it. Then Talira was successful. Oh, joy. The look of relief on his face is palpable. His expression turns to worry. Alas, I don't know the passcode. Talira said if something should happen to her, that we should seek the name of the Setero prince. But I do not know what this means. Perhaps its finding will come more easily to you. Okay, well, you know how. How about you, Beltrax? You know anything about a dead girl named Choi? He seems taken aback by a question. Choi? I remember that name. It was taken from a tomb in the Necropolis, though I don't remember anything else about it. The name only stuck in my mind because of the strange way the tomb made me see it. I can't explain it. You'll have to see for yourself. Just remember to hold your breath. He scratches his chin. I remember I had joined one of the memorialists for her rounds that day. That particular marker was in tomb 4221. Alright, I should write that down because I don't know if my journal will have that information. 4221. For the other ones, For the other one, I can always look at the book. Alright. So once I can get into the tombs, I can seek out certain tombs by number.
Of
It
course.
seems. Go talk to
All right, Red.
Phoenix again. No, nothing there. Maybe
I
Tantalum
am the
would know
very soul
something.
of action.
Alright. Take this rift.
If you want a job done right,
Maybe Tantalum knows about
I am
a
the
scepter
very
of
soul
Prince.
action.
Have you been seeking the secrets of the valley? I haven't read any tombs yet. I remember when I was just starting out too. Bright-eyed, hopeful. You have a lot to look forward to. I have a little more money. Still can't afford this awesome ass armor though. Well, I could sell some of my oddities. That one is usable. That one isn't. I can sell this. That gives me a lot more money. This isn't usable either. I might as well sell that. This, right? Now I can afford this awesome armor. So, my micro mesh. Nice. In the future, I might buy some more stuff from it, but for now, we'll roll with what we got.
Emeritus? I've been thinking. Have you had any other ailments? Fever? Sweating? Fever sweating?
Anything else
Oh,
I
I
can
didn't
do
say
with
I kept
this?
thinking. The thinking passed quite quickly, really.
No.
Yes.
Okay.
Now.
Alright, I'll have to think on this some more. I've made a little bit of progress, but I'm going to try to figure out that passcode. So we'll leave off here. And, no, see what I can figure out next time.